It was always going to be a major concern for rugby teams as we play these warm-up games going into the Rugby World Cup this year with the potential of injury, and that's exactly what's happened to two teams today as they count the cost of the weekend's matches. Hello and welcome to Inside Rugby. My name's Mark, and just a quick update today as we've got news through from both the French and the English camps that two players have been ruled out of this year's Rugby World Cup. And let's start with France, and Romain Ntamack has done a cruciate ligament and he will be out of the French team for this Rugby World Cup. Really bad news this. It didn't look good in the weekend when France were playing Scotland when Ntamack went off. Of course, he scored a great try in that game. And this was one of the French's key playmakers along with Antoine Dupont and the relationship they have at first five and halfback. So terrible news for any player who's trying to get into the World Cup. Of course, Ntamack played in the 2019 World Cup. He's not going to be there this year for France, and that's going to be a big loss for France, I'm sure, not having Ntamack in the team. He is a player with a lot of flair, and as I said, that combination with Dupont at halfback really sets up the French backline and the French play around the field. So Matthieu Jalibert is coming in for Ntamack and he will replace him. We'll see how good he's going to be in the World Cup. He's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders now, of course, with Ntamack being out, but I'm sure the French are still going to be extremely strong and be able to play to their full potential with the team that they have. We've also got news that Cyril Bay, the loosehead prop for France, is out with a calf injury for 6 weeks. So another one that succumbed to that game in the weekend. So France will be missing him for quite a start of, or at least 2 weeks start of the Rugby World Cup. So there we go, the cost of these injuries leading up to the World Cup. It's really sad for these players, of course, and it's not good for the teams as they try and put their final preparations together. Okay, the second injury we got from this weekend was from the England-Wales match. It was Jack Van Poortvliet, the halfback for England, went off with what seemed to be an ankle injury, and that's exactly what it was. So Poortvliet now has to have surgery on that ankle. He's going to be out of the Rugby World Cup. And another sad story for not only English rugby, but for rugby fans around the world. You know, we want to see the best players representing their teams at this Rugby World Cup. And of course, we don't want anybody to have any excuses that their best players weren't at the tournament if they don't do very well. So Poortvliet is out. He's the other casualty from this weekend's warm-up games. And Alex Mitchell from Northampton Saints will be coming in to replace Van Poortvliet. So that's a real shame. Van Poortvliet was one of those players that looked like he had the potential to unleash that English backline and get some true performance out of them. He's not going to be there now in France, unfortunately, from a playing perspective, and he will undergo his surgery immediate for that ankle. So there we go, a bit of bad news out of the rugby world today on both of those players, Ntamack from France and Van Poortvliet from England. Let me know in the comments what you think, how you think this is going to impact the World Cup, if you think it's going to impact the World Cup from these two teams' perspective. Let's hope that we don't get any more injuries in the final warm-up games as we head into the World Cup. We want to make sure that all the players get through safely and we can see the best teams on the pitch as we start off in the pool groups for this Rugby World Cup. So there we go, that's it, a short one today from me at Inside Rugby. Leave your comments on what you think of these injuries and the impact they could potentially have on the Rugby World Cup, and I'll be back again soon with another video right here on Inside Rugby. Until then, stay well, stay safe, and enjoy your rugby. See ya.